Joe Gibbs wants to talk about Kyle Busch contract. Even if Kyle Busch is able to secure a contract extension at the 11th hour, he should still leave Joe Gibbs racing. Should Kyle Busch be talked by the Joe Gibbs about the contract? Tell us in the comments section. As a result of statements made over the weekend at Watkins Glen International by Kyle Busch, it appears like the metaphorical writing is already on the wall about his future with Joe Gibbs racing after the 2023 season. Even though neither Busch nor the team has officially announced that they are parting ways, all indications point to GGR not having a seat for Busch next season, once Candy Company Mars Incorporated ends its 15-year primary sponsorship of Busch's number 18 Toyota. Mars Incorporated has been Busch's primary sponsor for the number 18 Toyota for the past 15 years. Hey guys, welcome back to NASCAR Zone. Before we actually start the video, I would like to say a big thank you for trusting our channel. And I kindly ask you, if you haven't already, to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that we can share and become a NASCAR family. And let's get started. However, even if JGR comes through with a contract extension for Busch at the last minute, the very fact that the two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion has had to wait this long is insulting and unjustifiable. Busch has been forced to wait for this long, and it is sufficient justification for Busch to proceed. As of right now, it has been 8 months since Kyle Busch has been looking for a new major sponsor. Mars Incorporated made the announcement on December 20, 2021 that the 2022 racing season would be its final one in NASCAR and is Kyle Busch's primary sponsor. The announcement came on the same day. That happened 245 days ago, which is slightly more than 8 months ago. Martin Truex Jr., a driver for Joe Gibbs racing in the Cup Series, has had his sponsorship with Auto Owners Insurance extended through the year 2023, according to an announcement made by the team since then. GGR's decision to re-up with Auto Owners was made in a rather short amount of time, especially when one considers that Truex waited until late June to decide whether or not he even wanted to continue racing the following year. As soon as the driver made his intentions public, it took GGR fewer than 6 weeks to persuade Auto Owners to continue their sponsorship for another year. So Mascarians, did you like the video till now? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. As for Busch, it has been more than 8 months since his principal sponsor announced its plans to dissolve connections, and it does not appear that JGR is any closer to obtaining a new sponsor for Busch today than it was in December. The fact that this raises the question of how the organization was able to rapidly arrange sponsorship for Truex in 2023 but hasn't been able to do the same for Busch is self-evident. It's possible that this is due to the fact that Auto Owners has only served as Truex's major sponsor for a little over a third of the races this season. So far, Busch has competed in a total of 25 races, and the Mars brand has been his principal sponsor in 21 of those events. It is possible that JGR should have taken the piecemeal approach that it has taken with Truex and found 3 or 4 sponsors willing to take 8 to 12 races each, rather than trying to find a company that would agree to shell out the estimated $20 to $25 million required to be Busch's primary sponsor for all or most of the races in 2023. This would have been more effective than JGR trying to find a company that would be willing to be Busch's primary sponsor for all or most of the races in 2023. Instead, here we are in late August, and it appears like Busch has no idea what the future holds for him in terms of the circumstances he will be in for the following season. When asked where things stood with regard to contract discussions with JGR, Busch responded during a news conference that took place over the weekend at Watkins Glen.
What did I just say?
You said there was no update. But
yeah, there's no updates.
But at any point during the negotiations that go back,
This is not the place to start airing any dirty laundry.
Wasn't trying to start.
No.
Kyle Busch would already be under the terms of a new contract if Joe Gibbs Racing was serious about keeping him on the team. It is difficult not to question whether this is a ruse, despite the fact that Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota officials have stated for months that they are doing everything they can to retain Kyle Busch in the fold for 2023. It is not a secret that Joe Gibbs' grandson Tay, who is 19 years old and now racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, will be moved up to the Cup Series at some point in the reasonably near future by JGR. Gibbs' 9 wins in 40 NASCAR Xfinity Series starts for JGR, combined with his recent success as a Cup Series fill-in at 2311, racing for the injured Kurt Busch, have led to speculation that JGR might be inclined to move Gibbs up to the Cup Series a year early. This is despite the fact that JGR officials have consistently indicated that the plan is for Gibbs not to join the company's Cup stable until 2024. If Joe Gibbs, who will turn 82 in November, is eager to see his grandson compete in a JGR car at NASCAR's highest level, wouldn't it make sense why the powers that be might not be moving heaven and earth to retain Busch? If Joe Gibbs is eager to see his grandson compete in a JGR car at NASCAR's highest level, after all, the car that Kurt Busch drives, the number 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing JGR, is the organization's signature vehicle. It was the car that JGR fielded with Dale Jarrett during the organization's first Cup season in 1993 before it began fielding several teams. Do you not believe that, deep down inside, Joe Gibbs wants his grandson to be driving that very car? Do you not believe that if JGR had a genuine interest in retaining Busch, it would have found a way to do so by this point? Tell us in the comment box and subscribe to our channel. Now let's move back to the video. It is very evident to anyone who is paying attention that JGR has not been in a hurry to locate a new sponsor for Busch. After all, Ty Gibbs' Xfinity Series vehicle already features a number of companies serving as co-primary sponsors. JGR only needs to convince one or more of them to move up with Gibbs to the Cup level, and maybe commit to covering additional races, and the company's sponsorship predicament on the number 18 car will be instantly resolved. It shouldn't be too difficult for Ty Gibbs to garner the support of a number of sponsors in the event that he moves up to the Cup level of racing, given his outgoing nature and solid performance in the Xfinity Series. It is up to Kyle Busch to initiate the process of formally severing his ties with JGR. Kyle Busch should not sit around and wait for Joe Gibbs Racing to fire him, or, as implausible as it is, finds a new primary sponsor for him at the 11th hour. Rather, he should sever ties with the team immediately and put a stop to the partnership. Busch has no legitimate reason to continue to let Joe Gibbs Racing tease him with the chance of a contract renewal that is never going to happen. He has won 2 Cup Series championships, an Xfinity Series championship, 60 Cup Series races, and more than 200 NASCAR races. Busch shouldn't feel like he owes it to JGR to wait and see what happens, since loyalty is a two-way street. And if JGR hasn't come up with a new contract and new principal sponsor for him by now, then JGR should not expect him to wait and see what happens. Already, he has waited an excessive amount of time. In addition, it is quite evident from his words made at Watkins Glen that he has a plethora of possible candidates for marriage in 2023. During his pre-race availability to the media, he told the reporters,
Thankfully, there are opportunities out there. There is, Cup jobs available, but it will not look the same as what it has for the last 15 years.
Busch should go ahead and notify the world that he will not be returning to JGR for the upcoming season, in order to increase his chances of securing the greatest possible opportunity for his future. If the other teams that are interested in his services are aware that he is totally accessible, they won't waste any time making an offer to him once they find out that information. According to the statements he made at Watkins Glen, he is undoubtedly struggling with anxiety at the present time, which is made abundantly evident by the fact that he has not yet been able to solidify his plans for 2023. But Busch should make the announcement that he is severing his connections with JGR for another reason. So it's not acceptable to keep a driver in suspense the manner that he has been kept in suspense for the past 8 months, and he ought to do it in order to send JGR a clear message to that effect, especially one of his stature and ability. Busch ought to be racing for a better team than Joe Gibbs Racing. It is time for him to go and look for exactly that. And that's it for today, guys. hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please click on the like button and share it with your friends and family. If you have any questions or comments, please share them with us in the comment space below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see even more of our incredible videos. You can also check out our other videos that have been specially selected for you. We'll catch up in the next video.